Universalist Unitarian Church of Waterville, Maine. My name is Nick, and I will be your worship associate today. This is another of our online worship services, new experiences in the history of our church. We are thankful that so many members and friends of this church have stepped up to put together these online services. We welcome back the Reverend Nancy Campbell as our worship leader. Reverend Campbell will lead us in the celebration of UU's special holiday, the Flower Communion, with the message, Spring Still Blooms. This worship service will also feature music from Annabeth Reinders, Beth Leichling, and Cheryl Ring. As you will see, we have assembled this online worship service from video clips that various friends and members of this church have recorded. If you would be interested in making a video of yourself doing a call to worship, chalice lighting, reading, music, or some other part of the service, please email the worship committee at uuworshipcommittee@gmail.com. Thank you. Now, on to our announcements. The Board of Trustees has voted to continue suspension of on-site meetings for the months of June and July, and to hold the annual meeting via Zoom at 10 o'clock a.m. next Sunday, June 14th. There will be no online service on June 14th, just the virtual annual meeting. At 11 a.m. today, Sunday, June 7th, 2020, Crystal Kessler will be hosting our church's virtual coffee hour, which occurs every Sunday at 11 a.m. Crystal will host coffee hour through a web conferencing program called Zoom. You might have heard of it. On the website that you have used to access our service, you will find a link to the coffee hour, and you will also find instructions for how to join in. In other announcements, please remember that through this period of suspension for on-site services, the church continues to have ongoing expenses. Please continue to make your pledge and plate contributions either by using the donate button on our website or by mail to UUC Waterville, P.O. Box 435, Waterville, Maine 04903. Thank you. And finally, join your church friends for a virtual coffee house each Thursday evening from 6:30 to 8 o'clock p.m. Come to sing, play music, read a poem, do a comedy routine, or just listen and enjoy. You can join by following instructions on our church website. See you there, and remember, it's BYOC, bring your own coffee. We turn now to the Greeting Our Neighbors portion of our service, which is a little bit different from how we do it during our in-person worship services. Usually, during this portion of our service, we exchange greetings with the people who are sitting near us in the pews. As we watch this online worship service, we can imagine that we are all sitting in virtual pews together in mind, in spirit, if not in body. The purpose of greeting our neighbors is to acknowledge the importance to us of our fellow worshipers. As we sit in our virtual pews right now, take a moment to think of someone in our church whom you might like to say hello to. Who would you think of?
Rachel or Bill, or if she's counted, Cairo, the cat.
At some point today, get out your cell phone or computer and send that person a text or an email, or give them a quick old-fashioned phone call. Even though we are physically separated right now, we can still acknowledge our fellow riders on this spiritual journey. Now, please prepare yourself for worship as we listen to the prelude. Now for our chalice lighting. A reading by Amy Zuckerman Morgenstern. Within the heart of the flower, the fountain of beauty. Within the heart of the community, a fire that warms and dances. Within the heart of each of us, a spark of the spirit of life. Holy, holy, holy.
Good morning. In our worship service this morning, we celebrate the beauty of the earth, which is our home, manifest to us, especially in this beautifulness and loveliness of spring. We join with countless Unitarian Universalists around the globe to celebrate the ritual of our flower communion. We honor our coming together to make a community of worshipers, each of us bringing ourself that is symbolized by the flower. This year, the flowers are in our homes instead of in the sanctuary, but we're still joined together by this virtual service. We come to remember and give blessings to the people who enrich our community and bring joy to our hearts. Praise be to all that is beautiful, all that is shared, all that is given and received in love.
I am enough. Like the sun, I'm here to shine. Like the voice, I'm here to sing. Like the bird, I'm here to fly and soar high over everything. Like the trees, I'm here to grow. Like the mountains, here to stand. Like time, I'm here to be and be everything I can. Like the champ, I'm here to fight. Like the heart, I'm here to love. Like a ladder, here to climb, and like the air, to rise above. Like the wind, I'm here to push. Like a rope, I'm here to pull. Like the rain, I'm here to pour and drip and fall until I'm full. Like the moon, I'm here to dream. Like the student, here to learn. Like the water, here to swell. Like the fire, here to burn. Like the winner, I'm here to win, and if I don't, get up again. I know that I may sometimes cry, but even then, I'm here to try. I'm not meant to be like you. You're not meant to be like me. Sometimes we will get along, and sometimes we will disagree. I know that we don't look the same, our skin, our eyes, our hair, our frame. But that does not dictate our worth. We both have places here on earth, and in the end, we are right here to live a life of love, not fear. To help each other when it's tough, to say together, I am enough.
Our reading this morning is entitled The Blessing of the Flower Communion by Reverend Michael Boblet. Blessed be the flower that triumphs at last over the snows, over the centuries, over the heavy feet of cattle and of soldiers treading down the fragile spaces of the earth. Blessed be the flower that triumphs at last over the closed rooms that are not its home, over efforts to domesticate its wild truth, over the vain words of priests and poets. Blessed be the flower that triumphs at last over us, over pasts and futures, over words and silences, over deaths and lives, placing them all in their proper place, restoring to all things their joyful smallness. Blessed be the flower that triumphs at last.
Joys and concerns. Now is the time in our service where we share the joys and concerns that are in our hearts. I will omit specific names since this service is on a public website. A member of our congregation asks that as we live through this period of turmoil, we remember our UU principles and seek in all things justice through peace. Another expresses the joy of Zooming with friends and family, although it can never be the same as a hug. Another member again asks that we particularly hold the members of the
Navajo
Nation in our thoughts and prayers, and look for ways as individuals and as a church to assist them during this difficult time. For these joys and concerns which have been expressed, as well as those that lie still unspoken, we offer thoughtful minds, helping hands, and loving hearts.
Please join me in the spirit of prayer. Spirit of life and love, come to us now in our moment of contemplation and prayer. Help us see clearly the path ahead, which can lead us to a still quietness of the spirit. When the outside world is trembling and fearful, remind us always of the tender mercy that exists in your benevolent universe. With hope in our hearts and flowers in our hands, we offer this prayer. Amen.
Good morning. My name is Cheryl Ring, and my accompanist is
Stephanie Barley.
and we are pleased to sing for you the song called Ashokan Farewell, made famous in Ken Burns' movie about the Civil War. And the song is about a person leaving the town of Ashokan to fight in the war, and whether or not he will ever see his partner again. The sun is sinking low in the sky above Ashokan. The pines and the willows know soon we will part. There's a whisper in the wind of
Oh, the beautiful music of Ashokan Farewell with the talents of Stephanie Barley on the piano and Cheryl Ring on the vocals. This composition, if you recognized it, you remember is from Jay Unger and was the soundtrack for the Civil War series on PBS. The majesty of the music is matched by the beauty of the flowers I brought to you this morning on our traditional Unitarian Universalist flower communion. I was glad to have a tradition to return to because, as we all know, this pandemic has thrown everything that's familiar up for grabs. Our jobs, our family life, our social life, they've all been masked by an invisible enemy that's in the very air that we breathe. Even this morning's traditional flower communion isn't traditional because if it were, we'd all be together in the sanctuary carrying flowers we brought from our homes. And we'd take home a flower someone else brought, cross-pollinating our congregation with the beauty of spring. But instead, we have this virtual worship service brought to you by the participants of this congregation, even as we all hunker down in an attempt to stay safe and well. I'm reminded of the wisdom in the poem Pandemic by the Reverend Lynn Unger. Lynn writes, "What if you thought of the pandemic as Jews consider the Sabbath, the most sacred of times? Cease from travel, cease from buying and selling. Give up just for now on trying to make the world different than it is. Sing, pray, touch only those to whom you commit your life. Center down. And when your body has become still, reach out with your heart. Know that we are connected in ways that are terrifying and beautiful. You could hardly deny that now. Know that our lives are in one another's hands. Surely that has come clear. Do not reach out with your hands. Reach out your heart. Reach out your words. Reach out all the tendrils of compassion that move invisibly where we cannot touch. Promise this world your love, for better or for worse, in sickness and in health, so long as we all shall live. And we all shall live through this non-traditional time. And who knows what changes we'll take with us into the future. One of the ways we can cross-pollinate this congregation this morning is to choose a fellow congregant you'd like to give a flower to and call them up. Call them up on the telephone so you can hear their voice when you tell them you went to virtual church this morning. As part of the service, you're calling to offer them a virtual flower from your virtual garden. Call up a couple of people. Just keep the tradition going because you're offering a virtual flower. The good news is that the heartbeat of Mother Earth can't be stilled by this pandemic, and her flowers arrived even if we weren't able to gather. The flower communion service was originated by Reverend Robert Chapek in his native Czechoslovakia in 1923 and is probably the most widely celebrated ritual in Unitarian Universalist congregations today. Every spring, most of our churches and fellowships devote a Sunday to this festive service, which celebrates both the earth's beauty and humanity's oneness. Its simplicity and universality make it meaningful for both children and adults. But this year, your flowers aren't in church, but around your dwelling. As you look at them, imagine each flower symbolizing the personality, spirit, and beauty of a particular human being in our congregation. In the flower communion each year, we celebrate the beauty of each other, the children and adults, young and old, gay and straight. But because of the non-traditional nature of this service, I'd like to offer a meditation for our Mother Earth, a meditation for our togetherness even as we are apart. So if you're comfortable and you can just close your eyes, imagine that you are Mother Earth standing tall in an empty space. Stretch out your arms wide and slowly spin around. Imagine you are growing taller than the trees, taller than the hills, head high in the sky. You are growing so large, so tall, no one can see all of you now. Imagine you are dancing in space, even larger than the moon. Spinning around, you are wrapped in a quilt of bright colors, blue flowing sea, dark green woods, and deserts of golden sand. You are large and grand, and your voice is the proud roar of icebergs crackling and waterfalls tumbling. Your whisper is a breeze murmuring through the reeds, a tiny wave lapping land. Wiggle your shoulders and mountains tremble and quake. Shake your hair and feel windswept grasses tickle your face. You are streaked with roads and bridges, spotted with farms and factories. You are where people meet, talking and singing, laughing and aloud. As you spin, you bring day, then night to everyone you call home. You are every place people rest and the place people know best. You are older than anyone, yet each day you are where new life grows, flowers bloom, and babies are born. You are shelter for people you may never meet but share one thing. You are their home. May they hear your whispers, feel your strength under their feet, and treasure you, for you are home. You are precious earth. The precious earth dances through the seasons, winter, spring, summer, and fall. We've moved from the cold and frozen ground of winter and now emerge into the vibrant green of spring's new life. From the great good earth comes all that sustains us, the fruits and grains, the waters and grasses, and of course, the flowers. From the beginning of time, the human tribe has stood in awe before the fertility of the great good earth. What is planted in the dark soil, then sprouted seeds, breaking through, reaching upward toward the sun, growing, ripening, all of it in awe. And this happens with or without the work of human hands, pandemic or no pandemic. Flowers, they are a gift to the world. They are filled with light, breath, and color. Their short lived beauty carries a metaphor of nature, of creation, and all its mysteries. Flowers are a reminder that some things can be counted on to bud and bloom, linger a while, and then go. Their short, transient life makes their gift of beauty all that much more precious. Our flower communion tradition is precious to this congregation, and we can keep it going even during this pandemic. Don't forget to choose a fellow congregant you'd like to give a flower to and call them up. Offer them a virtual flower from your virtual garden. Hey, you've got a manual for the church catalog. Call a couple of people. Flowers speak to us of joy, and their mood is love and unity despite the contradictions of our struggling and troubled world. The meaning of the life of flowers is known by the hands that hold them, the bowls that contain them, the hearts that love them. We have gathered in joyful celebration of the breathtaking change flowers makes in our lives and on the earth. And to this we say a joyful Amen. Our benediction this morning was written by the late Reverend Mary Harrington, who wrote, "Every day, look at the world with your wide and grateful eyes. Every day, let something kill you with delight. Let go of all that is harsh and harmful every day. Remember each day as a God. Each day arrives wrapped in its particular mystery and intent. Be still and know the gods of your days. Every day, chain yourself to the tree of life. Every day, however desperate, love one thing hard. Say to all with ears to hear, thy life is a miracle. Say it each day. Never forget that the world needs your precious gifts. Each day, offer and bless, stand and love, surrender and praise, because never forget the world needs your precious gifts. Live with all your might, love with all your heart, and may you blossom today and forever in peace. Amen.
Now for the extinguishing of our chalice.
A reading by Deborah Burrell. We have basked in the warmth and beauty of this flame and this community. As the chalice flame is extinguished, let us carry its glow within. Let us kindle new sparks within these walls and beyond. And our unison benediction. Let us go remembering to praise, to live in the moment, to love mightily, and to bow to the mystery.
And now let us conclude our service by listening to the postlude.